'Cause when you're in the flow, you swing your hips and throw back your shoulders. We ask for messages of clarity and strength and joy. And we ask for wisdom that will help us to make the most of the energies at hand. And we give thanks, and so it is. And so this is for the summer of 2017. But first, I'm going to lay down the fairy cards because they're so playful and whimsical, and to help us connect with the nature spirits. And we call on the nature spirits to provide us with wisdom and guidance on how we can connect with the planet during the summer months, and how through nature we can connect with our own inner divinity, our own inner light. And we thank the fairies. And this will be for July, August, and September. Okay, and we thank the fairies for those messages. And here we have July. And we have August. And we have September. And you can see I will keep the cards upright and do the full breadth of their message. We have eclipses coming up, and it's going to be, intense. So it's good to have a picture of what we're dealing with. And so I've laid the cards out to represent 1 month of the 3 months. So we're going to call this July, August, and September. And I know that the solstices, don't fall exactly on July 1st, but for the purposes of this reading, we're going to do it as July, August, and September. And then when I do the fall reading, I'll do October, November, and December, and I think that will work well. So let's begin with July. We'll use the little armadillo here with the broken ears to let you know where we're at. So to start with, we have the Eight of Pentacles. And the Eight of Pentacles has an energy of working away at your craft. And the card very clearly depicts a tradesman, a craftsperson, focused and totally working, focusing on creating something, a picture that he already has in his mind. And so I can see that in July that people are focused on producing producing something of value, something tangible. The pentacles are always representative of the material world. So what they produce is tangible. You can touch it. You can see it. You can feel it. So along with the Eight of Pentacles, we have the Hierophant, and we have the Three of Cups. And the Hierophant represents our value system. And he can represent also, institutions, higher learning, marriage, schools, anything that we would consider an institution. But from a higher standpoint, we want to look at it as our value system. And when we have it next to the Eight of Pentacles, what we're looking at is a marriage of our values with our skills. So perhaps in the past you may have been working a job that you didn't really feel was representative of your value system. Maybe you were thinking in terms of working just to get a paycheck and pay your bills and such. But with this combination, what we're seeing is a marriage of those two things. And so this person is working hard to use skills that have been obtained over a period of time, and to now use those in a way that is completely married to their value system. And if that isn't something to celebrate, I don't know what is. And we have the celebration card. And so in July, people will certainly be celebrating an accomplishment, an opportunity to bring these two components together. And I really feel like that is a measure of where we are in our society right now. People are tired of spinning their wheels or, working 9 to 5 days a week, and then only having maybe a weekend, and then they've got to deal with their household chores and, things that have to be done, and you haven't really had much of a chance to be refreshed before you go back and to trudge away at something. This is saying something very different. This is saying that you're putting the time and effort into something that brings you great joy. And that is a very powerful vibration to allow to gain momentum. And I heard something recently that I thought was very well put, that momentum, that the law of attraction is the mechanism of momentum. And so the momentum that is being created by the marriage of your values and your skills puts you in a place of joy, and that momentum is going to set the tone for the rest of the summer. And I think, let's go ahead and see. I put underneath the fairy cards just for fun. I find the fairy cards to be very much in the now, and I thought it would be fun to see how they give us more information about the cards that we've already discussed. So, this is very interesting because it's saying get some exercise. As your body becomes stronger, you begin to feel stronger in all ways. And I think that this is really good with this card because they say that sitting is the new smoking, because in the age of computers, we do so much sitting, and you really do need to get up. You need to get up, especially like when you're doing production work and you're trying to produce a finished edited minute. A week may have gone by, or more. You've got to get up and get exercise, and the exercise is going to help you with the best unfoldment of your skills. You know what it's like when you just keep pushing, and you're hungry and you're tired, and you're not going to quite get the product that you would get if you stayed refreshed, if you stayed well taken care of. So I really recommend that you heed the advice from the fairies to get some exercise while you are working away at your tasks. And maybe even for some of you, exercise is your skill. If you're an athlete or what have you, you know the importance of good self-care in order to produce at your maximum potential. So let's remember to incorporate exercise into the summer. And let's see, behind our value system, we have debt paid off. And I feel like this is so exciting. It says the old weight and habit of debt is lifted from you in your life. And I think that's really key to what we were saying. Old habits, like working a 9-to-5 job that you do not like, is kind of like a bad old habit, because you cannot maintain a healthy state of mind if you're going to work every day to a job that you do not like or that produces something that you do not value. And so this is saying that this debt is paid off. And what that means to me is that you've changed your mind somehow. You've decided that you can no longer do something, that you're going to use the skills and knowledge that you've gained and learned, perhaps maybe even by doing something that you didn't really like, to do something new. And as a result, you are lifting that. And so I'm really proud of us. I'm proud of us culturally, and certainly the cultural environment that we're in is giving us strong messages about what we will and will not put up with. And that is really helpful because we get clear. And when we're clear, we are focused. And when we're focused, our energy is focused, and we manifest without resistance that which we desire. And so I'm excited to see that there. And behind the celebration, we have winter. And then we also have the threes. This tells me definitely that within the 3 months of the summer, so maybe even by the winter solstice or by the end of the year, I would say that what we have set into motion in July, we will really see the unfoldment of it at that time. And the unicorn is always a symbol of the highest wisdom, the wisdom of appreciation, the wisdom of being able to recognize beauty. And it says the answers to your prayers and affirmations are fully realized in the winter months. Okay, so there it is. So as you're working away in July, expect to see some really fantastic results by the winter. So be patient and don't get discouraged. Stay on that high-flying disc so that it can build momentum and you can attract the things that you desire truly, that correspond with your values, and make sure that you're working toward, while you're working, that you are enjoying your work. There's a very powerful momentum that occurs when you are doing your tasks with joy, whether it's washing the dishes or whether it's editing video or whatever it is that you do. And some things might seem drudgerous to other people, and some other thing, we don't all enjoy the same things. So just whatever you're doing, enjoy it. And if you aren't enjoying it, find a way to get to that place. And if you need help with that, we hope that you'll enjoy the meditations that Lynn Medicine is putting out. Okay, so now we're going to move to August. And you can see how the July cards seem to be so much more kind of upbeat in a sense, with the yellows coming through and the celebration, and these cards look a little bit more scary, but don't be scared because we don't want to get on that vibe. We want to stay on the connection with our values vibe. And but this created a momentum, and this created a momentum of joy, of loving what you do. You paid your debt off to the past, relationships or jobs, or, jobs really are relationships. So you've paid your debt on old things that you no longer could do anymore. And so consequently, you have a completion card that we'll start with. Tens are always completions, and swords always represent thought. So these thoughts that you have carried in the past, that weren't serving you, quite frankly, they were causing you a great deal of pain. Thoughts of self-doubt, thoughts of not being good enough, thoughts of not having enough, or scarcity, or thoughts of inequality, whatever thoughts that you had that were not serving you, you're finished with that. And you paid that debt by lifting yourself up to a different pattern of thinking. And so consequently, you're going to experience a lot of changes. They're saying here, everything is okay. Don't worry if it's all don't worry, it's all working out in a beautiful way. So the momentum has been joy. So there's nothing to fear. You just need to stay calm. And as things come up, thoughts emerge that were painful thoughts, just let them pass. Just feel them and let them go away. Don't keep thinking about them and ruminating over them. You've done that. That debt, ruminating on things that don't feel good, whether they're relationships or jobs or what have you, that time is over. We finished that up in July, and in August, we're going to just dismiss those things and just trust everything is okay. We can focus on the good things, the good feelings. When I say things, I'm really talking about feelings here, because we are vibrational beings, and that is the thinking that Lin medicine is based on. So the Seven of Swords, to me, the Seven of Swords talks about taking what you like and leaving the rest. So you keep the things that are working and you leave behind the things that don't work. And that's exactly what we did in July. And so we've got some cleaning up to do in August. Cleaning up and cleaning out. And we are doing it. It is very much of a card of independence. All right, so we have the sun. Your son is watched over and protected as he explores his world. And you may be thinking, oh, I don't even have a son. Whatever. It can mean a son of somebody who's important to you. It could be, you could be a son. You could have a son. You might be affected by somebody who is a son. This is simply saying that is a point of information for you. And we can also focus on the image. The image is the little boy exploring his world, and he sees a frog in nature, and they discover each other. And it's sort of this wonder, a feeling of wonder, and he sees his reflection, and you kind of see yourself by discovering your world. And when you discover the world with wonder and fascination, that's what gets reflected back to you. And I think the reflection image here is very important because we've been talking about establishing this joy in July and now how it's changing our world, and we're changing, so now we're reflecting back something different than what we have in the past. And what we're reflecting back here is a beautiful sense of wonder and mutual interest. And it's kind of cool because this guy is looking at the frog too. And, it's also important to know what you're looking at and what you're not looking at. You turn away from these because these, you don't need them. You're clearing the clutter. And you're focusing on the things that matter. And so for some of you, I'm sure that the sun image will jump right out at you. And for others, you might be perplexed by that. But I think we should focus on even the connecting with our own childlike nature. Us as a son or us as a child. And of course, sun having, another meaning, S-U-N, kind of sun. It's almost like clarity. A sun means clarity, of being able to see clearly. And I feel like that is what's causing us to make a choice between what stays and what goes, what's relevant and what's irrelevant. And that's how we clear clutter, for sure. And this really connects with all of this to me. Death is something is over. We have a new way, and that means anything that is connected to us from the old way, it's going. I was just in the garden this morning, and I was pulling off all the dead heads on my roses because I know that if I pop the dead heads off, that more roses will come back. And that's really the message of the death card. It's a card of deep purification, deep transformation, because it's based on a new orientation, a new understanding, and a new way of seeing things that occurred in July. So August is going to be, we have an eclipse coming. There's always, eclipses come in pairs, a new moon and a full moon. And so August is going to be pretty intense, people, but in a good way. I mean, intense doesn't have to be scary. Oh, okay, I'm sorry, I forgot to flip that card. And that's very exciting that it's the emotional healing card, because that's everything we've been really talking about. As your heart heals of old emotional pain, which we are extricating from our life, you receive new blessings and love. We've got to stay on that high-flying disc of love, the vibration of love. When you feel like you're in a dark space, think about what you love about life and what you love about people, and to get back on that vibe and let you attract things coming to you from that vibe. And that, getting rid of the old negative thinking, is an important part of the August eclipses. And how that will change your life is going to remain to be seen. And if you focus on how you want to feel instead of what you see around you, then that will help you during this cleansing, purging process. It's like when you have a garage sale and you need to clean stuff out, and every time, oh, maybe I want to keep this. Oh, maybe I want to keep that. No, we're not keeping that. We're not keeping stuff here. Well, maybe some of it. We'll keep the good stuff, but the other stuff, we're going to just let it go. And it may have been good at one time, and it's just not relevant anymore. And that's, sometimes that's sad for some people. But if you stay focused on the things that you love, it'll make it easier. All right. So let's move on to September. All right, so for September, we have the Chariot, the Nine of Swords, and the Moon. And I really find this fascinating because we've created this momentum of joy It's totally eclipsing out all the negativity from our life, and we've gotten rid of the resistance in August. And when there's no resistance to your good, it just comes crashing in, and that is what the Chariot is. The Chariot, you cannot speed this up or slow it down. It is in process. And don't get scared. Remember, everything is okay from August, even though it was weird, and the emotional healing is occurring. And so to keep the momentum unobstructed, you want to stay in joy, stay in love, stay focused on the things that you love. Why would anybody want to focus on the crap anyway? Because crap begets crap. The law of attraction world that we live in. So remember, when you feel yourself plummeting or what have you, do things, go into nature, go look at that frog, do things to bring you back to the things that you love. And the fairies say patience, 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 patience. Everything that we see around us is something that we've already thought in the past. So the things that we're thinking right now takes time for everything to get rearranged, for the molecules to rearrange themselves, the atoms to reposition themselves. So patience, patience, patience. What you're asking for is coming about. Have patience, as there are unseen factors that need to occur first. So that this card is reminding us we cannot slow it up, we can't speed it up, and we can't slow it down. And the fairies are reiterating that with the patience, please. They're so nice. They always say please and thank you. So heed that. So this card is telling us to let go. Okay, have patience, let go. This is not a time for you to try to control. The only control you have is the feelings that you choose to feel, and those feelings will create momentum. So if you want to feel good, then it's up to you to find a way, a positive way to feel good and to stay positive. This says, ask for what you want. Let the universe and other people know what you need. So this is, it's saying your hands are tired. Maybe you can't do it on your own. This is, maybe you need to reach out and ask for help. And honestly, give and take is a balance. If you're always the giver, when are you going to receive? You've got to allow others to give to you. And when we ask for help, it's a way of giving others an opportunity to also be givers and giving you an opportunity to receive. It needs to be a balance. We're not islands. We are living in a world of give and take. And give the people who love you an opportunity to also be givers, so that they don't have to feel so badly when it's time for them to receive, and so that they can enjoy receiving. It's time for you to receive here. So ask for what you want. Pull, don't focus on giving everything away. Focus on opening your heart and receiving. And again, we have the swords, which represent thought. So there may be some thinking here. You don't want to block your good coming to you. You want to keep the resistance down, and or you don't want resistance. And so allow people to give to you by asking for what you want. And it might even be just asking out loud, to putting it out to the universe, because asking has a vibrational frequency. And we've spent all this time learning all these lessons to decide what we do and don't want. So we have some good clarity about what we want, and so we should certainly state it. And then we end this reading with the Moon card, which is pretty exciting with all these eclipses coming up. But the Moon card, it's about the subconscious. It's about the past, things that have been hidden in our psyche that come out into the open. It can also, these two can also mean worry. And so this is the thing that we don't want to do while we're waiting. And sometimes, when we're waiting, all of these, we can think of all the horrible reasons why things aren't going to happen because they haven't happened yet. Do not mess up that beautiful momentum you've started in July with worry. Don't do that. So you want to stay positive. The fairies are saying, your wish is granted. What you've asked for is coming true, and as long as you don't create resistance to your good, it can't help but come true. You just have to keep staying positive. If you stay in positive, you keep receiving all the things that come in on a positive vibe. If you stay in a place of joy, things that bring you joy keep coming to you. So I feel like that this is a really neat way to end the reading. It's kind of like we started out, this is so funny, because we started out with get some exercise, and we end up with your wishes granted. So it's like if you were wanting to get in good shape and you get some exercise, then you're going to be in good shape by the end of the summer. It's kind of a little funny metaphor, but people who are always trying to get their beach bodies on or whatever, how do you do that? Well, you get some exercise, and you work at it day to day. You do things that are good for you, and by the end of the 3 months, your wish of feeling good is undoubtedly going to occur. There is definitely a connection to the past in this whole reading, like with the debt paid off and ending in the moon. I really feel like the gift here is a reconsolidation of skills that we have acquired in the past and are being brought forth in a new way, in a way that brings us joy. And this looks like it's going to be wonderful. So when things get a little wonky in August and intense, and there's going to be a lot of changes, a lot of purging, a lot of purification, things that brought us to our wit's end, we're going to let it go. We're going to take what we like and leave the rest. It's going to make our life look completely different. And we just need to have patience, because generally when an eclipse occurs, it takes about 3 months, which is kind of funny because, here it is. It said the winter months. So I really feel like, we'll say by Christmas or by the winter solstice, we will see the payoff from this beautiful momentum that we've created in July. So that's very exciting, and I just, you'll hear about the eclipses, and for those of you who accept, the vibrational world as prominent, will appreciate knowing that things are going to work out, and we just need to roll with the punches, stay on that high vibe, because the vibe we stay at is the vibe we manifest. So if you feel like things aren't working well, then you must not be in a very good state of mind, because that's just going to keep perpetuating. Get on a high vibe, do what you need to do to feel positive, and stay there. And by the end of the summer, your wish is going to be granted. Okay, I decided to pull a goddess card for the summer reading, because I love the goddess cards, and I've learned about many goddesses I've never heard of before. So the goddess card I pulled for this reading is Vesta, which means home. Your household situation is improving, either through a move or a healthy change in the occupants. So, we were talking about the eclipses and all the changes and the marriage of skills and values And I really am excited because pulling the home card says to me that this change is going to occur in your home situation, where we're gonna see this purification. It's gonna happen, and it's gonna take place in our home. And this could mean our home, our country, our home, the place that we live, our home, the people who feel like home to us. Anything that gives us the feeling of home, that is where we are going to see this transformation occur. Perhaps what we call home, where we call home, who we call home, who we live with, where a new home or a renovated home. There's going to be a huge purification and change in whatever you call home for the summer of 2017. So when we get to the fall reading, it's going to be very interesting to see where we're at. So I wish you all many blessings in whatever you call home, and enjoy the summer. Deedly dee.